Good morning, crime community. Of course, it takes me 15 minutes to log on, but that's the way it is. These are poems written in 1822 by Percy Blysshe Shelley, published by Mrs. Mary Shelley, posthumous poems 1824, and dated January 1822. There is a copy amongst the Boscombe manuscripts. This poem was written in 1822 called the Zucca. Summer was dead and autumn was expiring. An infant winter laughed upon the land, all cloudless and cold when I, desiring more in this world than any understand, wept over the beauty which, like sea retiring, had left the earth bare as the wave-worn sand. On my lone heart and o'er the grass and flowers, pale for the falsehood of the flattering hours. Summer was dead, but I yet lived to weep the instability of all but weeping, and on the earth, lulled in her winter sleep, I woke and envied her as she was sleeping. Too happy, earth, o'er thy face shall creep thy waking vernal airs, till thou leaping from unremembered dreams shall see no death divide thy immortality. I loved, oh no, I mean no one of ye, or any earthly one, through ye are dear, as human heart to heart may be. I loved, I know not what is this low sphere, and all that it contains, contain not thee, for whom now seen nowhere, I see everywhere, from heaven and earth, and all that in them are. Veiled art thou like a star, by heaven and earth, from all whose shapes thou flowest, neither to be contained, delayed, nor hidden, making divine the loftiest and lowest. When a form thou art not forbidden to live within the life which thou bestowest, as leaving noblest things vacant and chidden, cold as a corpse after a spirit's flight, blank as a sun after the birth of night, in winds and trees and streams and all things common, in music and the sweet unconscious tone of animals and voices which are human, meant to express some feelings of their own, in the soft motions and rare smiles of women, in flowers and leaves, and in the grass fresh shown, or dying in the autumn. I the most adore thee, peasant, and layman, thee lost. And thus I went lamenting when I saw a plant upon a river's margin lie, like one whose love beyond his nature's law, and in despair had cast him down to die. Its leaves, which had outlived the frost, the thaw, had blighted with like a heart which hatred's eye can blast not, but which pity kills the dew, lay on its spotted leaves like tears too true. The heavens had wept upon it, but the earth had crushed it on her maternal breast. I bore it to my chamber, and I planted in a verse full of the lightest mold, in winter's beams which out of heaven's slant fell through the window's pane, disrobed of cold, upon its leaves and flowers the stairs which paned, in evening for the day which car had rolled, over the horizon's wave which looks of light smiled on it from the threshold of the night. It mitigated the influences of air, and light revived the plant, and from it grew strong leaves and tendrils in its flowers fair. Full as a cup with the vine's burning dew, overflowed with golden colors and atmosphere of vital warmth, enfolded it anew, and every impulse sent to every part in unbehold pulsations of the heart. We might the plant grow strong, beautiful and strong, even if the air and sun had smiled not on it, for one wept over it all the winter long, tears pure as heaven's rain, which fell upon it hours after hour for sounds of softest song, mixed with the string melodies that won it to leave the gentle lips on which it slept, had loosed the heart of him who sat and wept. He loosed his heart and shook his leaves and flowers on which he wept, and while the savage storm, waked by the darkest of December's hours, was raving round the chambers hushed and warm, and birds were shivering in their leafless bowers. The fish were frozen in the pools, the form in every summer plant was dead. Whilst this, published by Miss Medwin, the afternoon, August 11th, 1832. There's a copy amongst the Talwani manuscripts. The magnetic lady to her patient. Sleep, sleep on, forget thy pain. My hand is on thy brow, my spirit on thy brain, my pity on thy heart, poor friend, and from my fingers flow the powers of life, and like a sign, these seal thee from thine hour of woe, and brood on thee, but may not blend with thine. Sleep, sleep on, I love thou not, but when I think that he who made and makes my lot, as full of flowers as thine of weeds, might have been lost like thee, and that a hand which was not mine might have been charmed his agony, as I another's, my heart bleeds for thine. Sleep, sleep with the slumber of the dead and the unborn. Forget thy life and love. Forget thou must wake forever. Forget the world's dull scorn. Forget lost health and the divine feelings which died in youth's brief morn. And forget me, for I can never be thine. Like a big cloud with a May shower, my soul weeps healing rain. On thou withered flower, it breathes mute music on thy sleep. In order calms thy brain, in light within thy gloomy breast, spreads like a second youth again. But mine, thy bee is to its deep possessed. The spell is done. How feel you now? Better? Quite well, replied the sleeper. What would do you good when suffering and awake? What cure your head inside? What would cure, what would kill me, Jane, as I must on earth abide? A while yet tempt me not to break my chin. Published by Mrs. Shelley, Posthumous Poems, 1824. We're a copyright amongst the Tawany manuscripts. Lines, when the lamp is shattered. When the lamp is shattered, the light in the dust lies dead. When the cloud is scattered, the rainbow's glory is shed. When the lute is broken, sweet tones are remembered not. When the lips have spoken, love's accents are soon forgot. As music and splendor survive not the lamp and the lute, the heart's echoes render, not song when the spirit is mute, not song but sad dirges like the wind through a ruined cell of the mournful surges that ring the dead seaman's knell. When hearts have once mingled, first love leaves the well-built nest, the weak once is single to endure what it once possessed. Of love who bewaileth the frailty of all things here, why choose you the frailest for your cradle, your home, and your briar? Its passions will rock thee, and the storms rock the ravens on high. Bright reason will mock thee like the sun from the wintry sky. From the nest every rafter will rot, and thine eagle home leave thee naked to laughter when leaves fall and cold wind comes. That is the end of today's lesson. Tomorrow we will continue with poems about Jane. Whoever that is, I'm not sure, but there's too much violence in the world. So again, we pray for peace, love, and joy, and harmony, and pleasure, and pray for the women and children, and have a nice day.